allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good thing we don't have. We have a quorum. Okay. Ben, you got the floor. Yep.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you taking the time to meet with you today, to meet with us today. I sent some agendas, but we printed some extra ones.
Yeah, I forgot to put one.
You need one?
Yeah.
Need one, pass it around. Basically, our agenda basically, these are discussion points that we've come across as we've been trying to design a new water system. So, looks like you've printed off a set of plans there.
These are much bigger.
Yeah, these are a little bit. First of all, when we took your map, did you ever find it? I thought that we had sent it back. I mean,
Yeah.
Did you find it? Okay.
Yeah, it was on I wanted a digital copy so that I could submit it, that's all I,
Okay.
yeah.
So
But I got your physical one as well.
I've been
Thank you.
worried about that we didn't give you your map back, but I thought that we had. So anyway, Raymond and I have been working on this. Raymond's been spent a lot of time on it the last several weeks and really has a good sense of what we're up against. So this here is the bid. It's a preliminary cost estimate. I think we sent that around.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, we have $1 million to work with, and that's minus our budget and minus. And then we do whatever we got.
Okay.
You got one?
That's good.
Okay. So this is based on what we have designed here. So maybe just what our main assumption is that we're connecting to the water system here just down the street, where the new stuff comes in, and that one, that first connection, maybe we'll start talking about that. So that would be on sheet 11.
That's the one I heard you is?
Yeah, it's going.
And maybe, so sheet, which sheet is it? Probably one of these. It's not. It's just an intermediate sheet. There we go. So what we've done, the way we've laid these out is we've done 20 scale drawings, and then we've laid out 2 sections of it. So, excuse me. So you'll see that this here connects to this here. And then,
There's a match line.
And then there's a match line on the next sheet down.
Yeah.
So here we are on 2nd Street, and as we head, actually north is that way, so it's opposite of what we're,
We're doing back
how
up
we
there.
oriented. If we were on that side of the table, then we could have north in the right, in the right direction. So in either case, is it one more ray that where's our connection point here? Is it on 12? Here it is, right here. Okay, so there's an existing hydrant there, and then there's Savoa, and then we're coming, as we head north of the park. Is this where we want to connect, or do we need to connect further down?
Oh, you mean where the line comes into town?
This
Yeah.
is where the ductile iron pipe stops.
I think it stops there. We have plans that show the station and where it's at and all that.
Yeah.
I think
That's what this is, the Shepherd plans.
Yeah.
The Shepherd plans looks like it comes down and there's a hydrant.
I believe you have heard that stuff there.
And so I think that new hydrant is what's there.
It is a new hydrant.
Okay.
Right.
Because I was thinking we would replace a hydrant if that's a new hydrant.
It's
We
real.
just need to come in to basically make that connection.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So that's where we would like to connect. And so I guess maybe from the 30,000 foot view, we're trying to build as much of the backbone of the system that we can. And we were thinking that going up 2nd Street from this point of connection up to Tennessee and then across Tennessee would be, that's kind of that's what these plans are showing, and that's what this
Yeah,
project
that's our main feed line, Tennessee.
Right. And so is that a good assumption? Is there
And
something?
then make that like a main intersection.
Yeah,
Because that's about all that we're gonna have, the resources to do at this time, is to build up 2nd Street and then, Tennessee. We have to do 2nd Street, don't we? Because that's where all the water's coming from.
Yeah.
And then however far down Tennessee, we can go would be, as much as we can get.
You just have to go to my house and then everything else is okay.
What's your house?
He's a little far from Tennessee, possibly.
So we're good with this point of connection on the south end of town? Is that?
I think so.
Something to me.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
directly up to the
Yeah.
existing new line.
Newest to new.
Right, okay, good. Was there anything else about this connection, Ray, that you had questions about?
No, so I think we would connect before that new hydrant to say, money, you don't need to put a new hydrant in.
Yeah, because we're gonna have no walls right there.
Okay,
Yeah, because some of these hydrants are good. Some of the hydrants are good, but I just fairly new.
Just just not knowing exactly where these ended, it's kind of difficult to understand where those ended. And I've only really been able to look at this on Google Earth and just being able to see that hydrant. I'm like, well, that's fairly new. So I think I would come in and then just come across back before, probably tie into that T. And then that would save the cost of a new hydrant.
Right.
So right there, we're saving.
Then there's a valve in there too with the hydrant. Is the valve on the ductile?
The valve will be on the stump to the hydrant, most likely.
Yeah.
No, there's a valve that shuts off the main line.
you're doing it right.
Well, there is one right by those vaults.
Yeah, it shuts off because that's what we were using when we were working on Park.
Well, in either case, we can work out those connection details. I mean, that's something that the contractor can,
They'll have to be surprised.
when they they'll have to get in there, actually uncover what is good and
So are we
and
talking
what
about
we.
replacing the existing main line?
I think what we're doing, what our design concept has been is that we would build a new one because they both have to coexist.
Right.
Because during the construction process, you have to be able to build it and maintain service with the other existing system. So we'll have to build them separately and then make a connection to the existing system when the new system is complete.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
They need to reject.
So then we'll stop using it?
Well-
I just don't understand why we're replacing the existing line.
Because it's real low pressure line. I mean, it's not the new, it's the old PVC.
Yeah, they'll
It's the old stuff.
Yeah.
It's the.
Oh, so that 6-inch line is not adequate.
Right.
Oh, I see.
That's
Yeah.
something that broke
that's
down at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for note purposes, we're discussing connecting prior to the fire, or we're gonna deal with that later? Okay, correct, okay.
It would be, I think we would, the little detail shows it here. This is the existing hydrant here.
I can see that.
And then this would be a point of connection, and then we would put either replace the hydrant or do what we need to make it work.
You could, because it's a newer hydrant, you could circumvent it and come back to the
Or
line.
reinstall it, or whatever we need to save some money. So generally, this will connect to the water system in this area, and I think we've got, and we'll do that. Back to your point. I mean, in order for the water system to be, for everybody in town to maintain water service, it has to be two separate systems.
Right. Yeah, you have to put put the new one in and get it functioning and then.
I just didn't realize the existing one was not adequate for what we need. I didn't realize we had to replace it.
So there's a testing process. I mean, they build it, they test it, and they get approval from ADQ with all of the testing is complete. And then when it's given the thumbs up and say everything's okay, then we can switch over. And then the old system would be abandoned in place, is what we were thinking, that we didn't need to go through and dig it up and tear it out.
No, I don't think we need to do a demo.
There is something that comes along with that though, because the buried pipe, unless it's slurry backfilled or destroyed to the point that if somebody digs across it, they would recognize that it's not a viable utility.
And a lot of it's not very deep.
Right. There is, you or the water district will be responsible for maintaining location services for that pipe, which is it'll be a long-term maintenance deal. You know, when somebody calls Blue Stake and they say, we have to locate, you know, you need a utility in this area.
Right.
That will still be a responsibility that the district
So
bears.
areas of magnetic, we'll cover that.
Yeah, we don't really have locating abilities now, except for.
Basically abandoned.
Right.
But you wanted to
Wire cut.
So that's something to consider.
Yeah.
And it's something that you need to be aware of, that there will be a continuing responsibility for utility location services if the pipe remains in the ground and not
We could always
destroyed.
get a separate bids for that.
Yeah, or it's something that you could do piecemeal, you know, you can dig it up.
Yeah, there's ways to deal with
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question then. Is that pipe inadequate to use as a service line? Because we had talked once about putting in a main line that'd be exclusive pumping water up to the tank and not servicing individual homes or laterals. So is that pipe that's in the ground, is that inadequate also to use semi as it's being used now? And as it's used now, we're pumping the pressure up high so we can get it to the tank.
Right.
But then when the pumps go off and it's a low pressure, the water coming back down, is it inadequate use for the water coming back
I
down?
think I would recommend not.
No, I think that's,
Just a second. Go ahead.
it scared me a little bit.
It would be a continual maintenance.
Yeah.
Because of its age?
Because of its age,
Yeah.
because of, I mean, if you took it out and tried to where it was, because it's old.
Well, no, I'm not thinking about that, I'm thinking just leaving it in place with the connections as they are. And then having the new line be exclusive to pumping the water up to the
I
tank.
don't, well,
The reason why he's saying that is because it would maintain a steady pressure, it would not have any high pressure
right.
on
So,
the whole line.
well, that would kind of change our design concept, because then you would just be using the new system. The only thing you could use it for would be to feed the,
Right, to feed the tank, that's
I
exactly
guess
right.
you could put services on it, but then we'd have to go through and figure out, you know, where are we gonna cut off, you know, make no cross connections, because we'd want the entire system to just be gravity fed from the tanks,
Right.
which would, that would complicate your system, and it would,
Seems to me it would simplify.
well, from an operational standpoint, it may simplify it,
Yeah.
but to have two pressure zone systems, it seems like it would make it, yeah, it's up to you.
Well, it would be only high pressure, and just that pipe going to the tank, everything else would be relatively low pressure.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's something that we can consider, you know,
But I think using that old pipe is a little scary.
I would like to mention one thing though.
No.
While that sounds appealing,
Keep our water loss.
we don't have the funds to get it all the way to the tank, which means we'd just be buying a line that would just be buried in the ground for until we could get more funding.
that's a good point.
Because we don't, the length of pipe that they've estimated isn't the same length that it's gonna
Well,
take
it'd
to
be a
get
hell
it.
of a lot cheaper to lay one pipe up toward the tank than it would be to lay it and then have to make all the connections and switch over from one pipe to the other. You know,
I just wanted to make sure I said that.
trade-off both ways, I don't know, I just,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if the pipe's not usable, then my question is good.
The thing that worries me is what condition is that pipe in?
That's the whole point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The whole point is,
That's old pipe, it breaks all the time, we're always having to repair it, and the lines, not just the lines going to people's houses, service lines, but the laterals coming off of them, you know, and there's leaks that have been existent for years that we don't know about, like the one on 2nd Street across from my house, it was leaking forever. You could tell, and everything, you know, percolates down. So just scrap all this and using that old pipe and take a new pipe to go up toward the tank would be a waste. It would defeat the purpose of this whole engineering plan.
it seems like it, because that's been our understanding all along, that the system has aged to the point where it's unreliable, and you don't know where the leaks are. We could spend from now to the end of time trying to find leaks and repair them, but rather than do that, the design concept is that we build a new system.
I really think, you know, using that old pipe, we had a major leak out here in Tennessee, 2 weeks ago, and we had a 20-foot split.
Really?
In a piece of 6 inch.
Wow.
40 foot split, almost split the whole 40 feet.
Wow.
And it was 6 inch PVC in 40 foot lengths.
So the whole pipe was...
Yeah, the whole pipe split, all but about that much of it.
So basically what you're saying is that right as we're putting the new line in, it's gonna have the hookups for the...
We'll make cross connections, and that's why Ray, this detail is kind of a major part of this design process. We're going to build a main up, the way what these plans have is a main up 2nd and a main down Tennessee, and then every cross street we would make a connection back to the existing system. And that's, so this T here would represent the new system. We would branch off and connect back to the existing system, and then between the existing system and the old main, we would, that portion would just be abandoned. So it might look, let me show you a specific example of this. Here. Okay.
Right there.
Right here. So we're coming up 2nd Street with our new main here. That's the existing main that's grayed out. The new main is blue. We come to this intersection of Elkhart, and we have a cross, meaning that the water system goes both ways, all 4 ways. And then there's a 2-inch existing main in Elkhart. So we would come with a new 2-inch here with a new 6-inch to a T. And then in the future, when we get more money, then we can come back and connect to this T and continue the water system. But in the interim, we would make a T come over and connect to the existing system.
We got the existing system.
So that everything would remain active when the whole system is functioning.
And this is actually Elkhart here, right?
Yes.
That's where the cross is.
Yep.
Okay.
And so this,
I would put the main on the southeast, on the south side of the street. Whereas the design of the place is that they're always on the north side. Does that make a difference?
yeah, the side of the street is, I mean, we've stubbed it out on the south side of the street, and then we would cross the street and connect to the existing main on the north side
Oh, I
of the
see
street.
what you mean. I was having trouble visualizing because I thought that was
The north that way.
Okay.
Yeah, north is that way.
This is the separate, again,
Yeah,
this
okay,
piece
that's
of
one area.
work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
The simplicity as it was laid out, the pipes were always on the north side and on the east side. So now for this then, we'll just change it so that there's some of them are on the north side, some are on the south side.
Keeping it, so existing right now is on the east side of the street.
Right, but I'm
Just
talking
putting
about
this
this
on
line,
these.
I'm talking about this line.
Yeah,
It's currently
this
on the
line
north
is-
side of the street, as are all the other streets in
Yeah.
town. So what your plan is that we're gonna start switching them to the south side of the street?
that was our intent, just, again, because we know the system is aged, and if we start digging next to it, then there's
Oh, I see.
potential.
That's another
for
scary thing.
damage. So we're trying to stay away from it as much as we can, but at the same time, we need to connect to it. And so, that's, I think.
This is basically a temporary connection.
Yes.
Right.
This is,
An intermediate
yeah,
connection.
okay, there you go, that's a better word. Yeah,
Because we don't know when we're gonna get money to be
Right,
able to
right.
continue this. But it would be eventually, hopefully,
well, yeah.
abandoned, and the new one would continue, and it would be on the south side.
Well, see, the thing we have with this whole design is that when the next grant money comes up, we've got an ace in the hole.
Right.
We've got a full design right here.
Yep, that's
When Angie writes the grant, she can say, okay, here, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
We can dig tomorrow,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
Rather than saying, oh, well, we're gonna do this. And we've got a fairly realistic price
Yep.
with this, and we've got one foot in the door already.
Hopefully that is how it will work out. That's
Yeah.
our understanding.
That's kind of our plan anyway, you know.
Right.
I'm just thinking of further confusion of not knowing where the pipes are.
Well,
It's bad enough in ours, so.
Yeah, we have plans and we'll look.
well,
The
we've
one
got
good thing
plans.
about it, as it's constructed, we lay the magnetic tape, we can locate.
That's a requirement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
There is a requirement.
Put a magnetic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
that's part of the MAG rules, right?
Oh, yeah.
all of the new pipe will have, where's my There it is. All of our new pipes, actually it's not on the main.
Yeah, the tape was just for like thinking.
Anyway,
Wires.
it's a requirement to have locating wire
Yeah.
and the ability to, but that's part of the responsibility of the district, is to be able to mark on the ground where the pipe
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, walk
That
out
will
with it.
be,
Yeah.
what, that will be part of this new construction. All of this new piping that is to be installed will have the ability to locate it.
Just with a metal detector.
With the location.
With location, nice.
It's,
Don't they connect to each
yeah,
end?
they put a signal generator.
Yeah.
It's just a single strand of wire.
Yeah,
And they put a signal generator on it, and then with their locating
Yeah.
detector.
Is there enough money that we can buy that?
yeah, right there.
The location,
No, I actually have one.
Do you?
Well, my wife's first husband he was part of the water company up in Oregon, and when they got all done, he had the local device.
Well, that's something that is your responsibility as a
Yeah.
utility
So
owner and
it's-
operator.
yeah.
It's something that you should, I mean, if you need to take money out of the grant, I don't know why that wouldn't be part of what you could.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what those things.
That's a bridge we
It
can,
seems like it's probably, what is it, about $3,000?
yeah.
So,
So that's, in the grand scheme of things, that's not
not
much.
much, right, but.
Save us a lot in the long run.
But if that's something that we need to add, district,
Contract their purchase.
Yeah.
I think we could probably
Yeah.
get $3,000 somewhere.
Yeah.
Or you guys could purchase it ahead of time.
yeah,
But like I said, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of money.
no, not.
To have that, at your fingertips.
Right.
Well, the other reason for having to switch sides of streets is the feasibility of construction. Some of these streets are going down, and it's not feasible for us to put that water line in that area because of landscaping or other requirements or restrictions, I should say, or if there is a right-of-way. So as I was looking at all the streets, there's some people that have, landscaping all the way out, and that 2-inch line's going right underneath all that. So instead of going through there and making that neighbor upset and having to remove
Right.
all their antiques and everything that they have over the years had there, I went to the other side of the street. Because constructability wise, it was cleaner to stay off the edge of pavement and I could stay in the right of way. So that was the other consideration.
Keep people
looking at.
complaining too.
So you want to be a friendly neighbor when you're putting new pipe in like
Yeah.
this and digging down.
And with a locating device, it's
For an extra wire, it should be fairly simple to
Yeah.
find.
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing that's really in there.
So this will provide a great backbone for your town to.
Yeah, it's a backbone.
For future expansion. So,
I'll bring it down, we'll check it. He's used.
So, yeah,
Answer number one.
Talking about the Tennessee mainland,
yeah, we haven't talked about Tennessee yet, but what's your question?
just ending in early down there by the DFW.
Yeah, that was our main question. How far down Tennessee are we gonna go? But is it, okay, we'll get to there. This first question is, what we've designed is typically when we design a water water system, you would see a plan view and you would see a profile view. To save a little bit of money, we've done away with the profile view, but the intent would be that the contractor would build and maintain a certain cover, 3-foot minimum cover, and that we would use, rather than joint, than bends and fittings, we would use allowable joint deflection in the pipe, both horizontally and vertically, to just put the pipe in.
Yeah.
So that's what this first item is here, that we're just, we're building the pipe. The contractor will dig a trench that's acceptable. We'll look at areas where we can maybe get rid of an ARV. You know, if there's a little rise in the hill, we would try and dig through it so that we wouldn't need an ARV there. But we would use kind of a standard trench detail and install the pipe in that fashion. And so that was one of our main assumptions that we wanted to verify with you.
There are cases we don't go more than 6 foot, but we are going below 3. We'll get up between 4, 5, and 6. The purpose for that is if you look at an existing, you're doing something like this, traditionally what I would do is just follow the water line like this. And so here you'd have a high point, here you'd have a high point, and you'd have an ARV. So what I did was where I could, I would eliminate that to kind of keep all the bubbles of the water going straight up, and that was able to eliminate all these ARVs. On Tennessee, there's not one. On 2nd Street, we have one.
So what we're doing is we're trading trench depth, because we'll have to dig a little bit deeper so that we can maintain a positive grade on the water line to avoid ups and downs.
Okay, yeah.
So that, because ARVs, air release valves, are designed at water system high points to let air out of the line. Those are a maintenance issue.
Yes.
And it would reduce your maintenance. So we're asking the contractor in some spots to dig the trench a little bit deeper so that we can avoid some of these long-term maintenance things. I think that's, for your situation, that's ideal.
Yeah.
So
basically on the right side of the plan, what you see is you see a station elevation. That's the invert pipe. So the invert pipe. So you invert the bottom piece of your pipe. So that basically tells the contractor, this is how deep you need to maintain that. And I get them in areas where there's going to be small deflections, and they can get those up to 5 degrees in a pipe. So as they're building this thing, they're basically burying it at these depths on the right side. They have to maintain that. And we'll talk about that during the recon, and they'll understand it.
Because these are culverts, drainage culverts, and we're designing the water system to go under. But back to your point, we may be able to move this clear up the road. I'm not sure what this is feeding.
So I actually could start my line on this sheet, looking at that.
Yeah,
That would be great.
all these culverts.
Because that gets rid of 500 and then you'll do the pipe.
Is this, so this is where we want to connect back
That's my vote, but I mean,
at the VFW?
there's, the history is this line ran out to an old system that we had miles away. It connects to another tank and then a pumping system way out miles away. The tank isn't really any use, in my opinion, because it's not a good enough elevation to come back to town anyways. So chopping off at the VFW down by the hydrant or wherever you chose would, to me, make a lot more sense.
Is that, maybe it's easier instead of looking at all these chunks. This is,
Goes up to the valve. Chop it up.
I think that little tick mark right there,
2000.
so it's right that's the VFW. So again, we're connecting here in 2nd Street coming up to Tennessee. So the question is, can we connect at the VFW at our hydrant right about there?
Yep.
So we need to go to the hydrant at least?
Yeah.
So the
Or put
hydrant,
another hydrant, but it's
13 in the there.
It's,
I was going to show a hydrant there on the sheet of wood.
so that's the forest.
Yes, kind of the far west side of the property, the VFW is where the hydrant is.
So that's the hydrant there, right by the culverts, is that the right?
Yes, right, exactly, just right lined up.
That was kind of just my structure.
Okay.
Okay,
Or stop it right, whatever the cell line should be past the hydrant.
so we'll feed the hydrant and, or do we want to move the hydrant to the
Nice to get it
east
to this side.
and go over to here, or, I mean, that's,
Whatever you can do is save money, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's the hydrant that we're talking about putting a riser under anyway.
Yeah, so we're gonna need to put some water, yeah. I mean, shake it off.
that's that existing hydrant.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
we
okay.
can skip that.
Now, the feed line for the, is a 2-inch line that goes up over here.
Oh,
The VFW.
well, the VFW line is here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And for whatever reason, we had.
Yeah, it's all
about three.
We had it marked as a 3, but you say it's a 2?
I'm pretty sure it's a 2. But we
Yeah.
had to dig that up one time, several years back, and it was 10 feet deep
Oh,
at this point. You know,
So,
and it was, oh, just one more scoop. Right. That's what happened.
Yep, found it.
Yeah.
So, so that's the question. To the hydrant, is that what we want to do?
Well,
Connect
what's,
as the hydrant?
what's gonna save us the most money, that's where I'm gonna come from.
Bring it back a little bit, bring it back to wherever the feed would be.
Yeah.
Here's the 3 lots on the south side of the road that we actually serve, and then the VFW is right here. So if you want, we could stick a new hydrant, you know, here, next to the VFW service, and just make that our connection.
The only problem is that we're down in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, are we down?
Yeah, that's why we put it, right next to the hydrant.
Okay.
Because this thing here is down.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, we're only talking about, I mean, this is 15 to 13, so we're talking about 200 feet, you know, is
It's
that?
seamlessly bored, I mean, either way you save.
Yeah.
On this project, we could just put an extension on that too and pop it up in there.
That's cool, yeah.
Just take the existing, pop that up in the air, that way it's there. And if you don't need a new one here, we just fix that one.
Well, that's a brand new hydrant.
Yeah, that's a
That's cheaper,
It's a right-
like a couple $100. I mean, you're just gonna put a riser on it and fix it.
Everybody can pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're good on our connection point, we'll connect back
So
to
we're
the
gonna
system
connect.
here.
Back to the system here,
Oh, okay.
right?
Well, I guess that's back to the question, do we want the hydrant down in the wash, or do we want it up?
We're just gonna fix the height of that.
Okay.
So we're leaving our stuff at
Okay.
13, or, yeah, leaving the hydrant at the location it's at right now, is that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's.
And then what
That's where I was
Get
going.
out of the air.
Yeah. So we'll leave it where it is.
Well,
for now.
that's part of the question, I mean, we would connect back to this existing 6-inch, and it would maintain what it's doing now, is that?
Well, that was a big use.
Fire hydrant is here. And this is north,
This
this
is-
is east.
Yeah.
I thought putting a
Ben,
12
this part of
riser
the
on a
system
5
is
hydrant was not
No, that's
recommended.
what I'm saying.
Used it all.
No, we
You
can
can, but it's not recommended.
So
That's
actually now-
It's actually a soft septic hydrant.
So we don't need to
Because the
reconnect to that, we can, that can all be, so this connection
Which it
here.
would be, because it's
Oh,
would.
yeah.
Stuff it
And
at
this would all be abandoned in place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, it's not gonna be.
Yeah.
And then we can take that hydrant and move it up to here, is that what you're saying? Right? Or we leave it there?
Leave it there.
Leave it there.
So we'll leave it there, and we'll put an extension on it to get it out of the wash.
Yeah.
And we'll just connect it up.
And this will be the end, this will be the end of our new system, right?
Yeah.
Is this the feed going into the bees?
No,
No,
well, that's what is there, but
The
that's not
VFW is down
That's the
here.
fire hydrant down there they just worked on.
the old fire hydrant.
So this portion here would, in the real one, would move up there, so we would come down here. This is the VFW service right here.
Oh, okay. Which, you look at that, would be up in here.
What is this one?
That was the old line, we had a standpipe there one time.
You have the little standpipe there.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's not being used either?
No,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was for the lines, I mean, for the guys up on the hill, right?
So
I
they
don't
can,
know.
they can stub it off over there then?
So there's stuff off there. This just connects up onto here.
Yeah, I know. But if that's where the V comes in, and that's where the hydrant is, they can stub it off.
The hydrant's all
The
over.
hydrant's further down. Hydrant's like here.
You know, the hydrant's out in front,
Yeah,
down on,
Yeah, I know where it is.
yeah.
that's
Okay.
that's the location of the actual hydrant in the ground, right now.
2 inch, yeah. So just so we're all on the same page, this is the existing hydrant. And there's a valve out in front of it,
Check, yep.
and then there's this existing line here. What our connection plan will be, we'll come out to here, put the, connect to nothing.
Wait a minute. Our new hydrant is right on the line,
Right.
and the valve is over here,
Oh,
just slightly off.
Yeah, it's just right out in front of
so
us.
schematically, we don't have it quite right.
We gotta come up over.
Yeah, okay.
So we
So,
did that before you guys got the, we did that after you had all this, so that's why it's.
okay. So we'll extend our new main out to the hydrant, existing hydrant location. And then from there easterly will be all new and the existing will be abandoned in place. Is that,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing?
Yep. I think so.
Okay.
My only question in this area is, these 3 lots here, they were fed by a little weird stub out 2 inch. Are we just gonna run right from the 6 now?
That's,
Yes.
that's the
Which is
way,
good.
that's the way we didn't want to run
That's what I'm
parallel main.
good.
It
You don't have too much to worry
will be expensive, a little more expensive because we're making 3 separate
Yes.
cuts across the road. But
Same
it'll
problem
be-
is further up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the same thing.
That's what we've done for everywhere, is every service will have its own service line to
Its
a
own,
main.
its own lateral going in,
There
yeah.
won't be any parallel small
Well, now,
diameter.
we have to make parallels now.
So that was a good way we wanted, I think that's a discussion item further down, but it sounded like we already got to it. So,
What was that?
this, maybe we'll talk about this 2 inch main.
We're gonna abandon it.
Yes, that's going away, and we're not duplicating it, we're just putting a service around.
So should we talk about the size of those?
Well, we need to talk about the size of the VFW one. for
Yeah.
sure. So,
How do you plan on ending?
Say again?
this thing,
Yeah, at the end of the fire hydrant.
Just put a blank flange.
yeah, we put a T on there and there's,
The blind flange.
blind flange.
No, that way in the future, if something had to happen.
Yeah, we can,
Okay, no, you're
we can
good.
connect to that line flange.
And that kind of goes
So
back
the
to,
valve,
that's kind of,
Yeah.
we don't want to put any valves in the ground that aren't going to get used.
Yeah.
So, we'll put it makes it a little bit more difficult when you're building in the future, but
It's
you're just
shut
running
it
away
down for a little bit and.
Right.
Yeah, but for now, that's the way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any intersection that goes along,
No dry valves anywhere.
don't have any valves.
No dry valves.
So, and that's our kind of standard
Yeah.
T with the blind flange.
If you go to that cross, it's only 100 feet away, shut that valve off, and then that line's closed.
No, no.
Yeah.
Tie
That's
on
one of
to
my
it.
concerns as an
Yeah.
operator.
And then,
that
for future.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
So
When they put the housing development.
we don't do that.
So,
Isn't that kind of up to the
let me see,
HOA?
let me get.
Yeah, the HOA. Yeah,
How far east on Tennessee do we want to go?
As far as.
As far as we can.
As far as we can?
Yeah, to the cattle road.
Yeah, but don't we,
Well, we have
would we be doing what Gene was talking about? Because originally, we talked about going from Second all the way up to the tank. We were going that direction when we originally talked. I mean, that's what I remember, and I'm new to this here.
Well, you can't go from, in order, if you wanted to go from Second up to the tank, you'd have to go through the BLM land out there and go straight up. You can't go, because Second ends at my house,
Okay,
so it doesn't go any farther, so you couldn't go from Second to the
so
tank.
you gotta go up
You
to
gotta have.
Third,
Yeah,
Fourth.
pretty much all the same path.
We go up to Fourth.
Yeah,
Fourth.
Goes Fourth and then goes up
Okay,
to the home.
that's
across,
fine, that's
and then
fine.
every-
5,000 all the,
What's our 8,400 is what we have on these.
yeah, with our budget.
Yeah, with the budget, this is over budget,
Yeah.
so we have to figure out where, you know,
7,000 feet.
where we're gonna
I think
end.
anywhere
Okay, so we're gonna knock off a whole bunch of us down here.
Yeah,
We're gonna put 100 feet.
500 feet or so.
And so, is this the cattle barn?
Yeah, go all the way into the cattle barn.
Then we go on sheet.
Whatever direction you want.
What we can get.
Yeah, that's super good.
That's a good one. No, that is, looks like they're both on there.
Yeah, there's the end.
Use the cattle barn.
So I'm coming to the end, and I basically disregard that. That's just alignment. So the line ends right here with a 90 straight up to this hydrant, and then we're teeing off on the back side of this valve for that meter. Put that meter back right there.
Oh, that's where the empty house is now.
That house is way outside, I don't know if it's hooked up.
Which one?
The one there by the line, no?
Oh, that one. Oh,
That's the
the
cattle
other one.
barn.
Yeah, it's right across the path. That's town.
Yeah, it's not even.
Well, we had, the information we had the 2-inch coming out to here, and, but
I could be right, I could be looking at the plans.
if we need to make a connection back to here, if this actually does continue, then that would be something that we could
Yeah.
surely add.
Well, it's
Service
intended
and-
to be the line, where it goes up.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so.
she's the land, that house is the carpenter's house.
Yeah, because that's a question. I mean, I'm 98 inch straight up, so I'm making a hard connection where I could actually do a T here,
Yeah,
and I could put a blind flange.
yeah, that's what I'm seeing there.
A T with a blind flange, and then your future would go up that way.
Yeah.
But they're way past the camera bar. There's a camera bar.
Covered here.
Yeah.
Is that the pen? Oh, yeah, we got it out there.
Yeah, there's a house like way up here.
I'm staying away from the cattle guard because they got the signs and.
Yeah, I gotta have a clue how that house is hooked up.
So what,
Is it angled?
Now there's a meter right here. There's a meter right there right now.
Yeah.
so in either case, we're gonna need to connect back to existing here, is that what you're
Yeah, there's
thinking?
another one here. It's not on the map.
There's another meter?
Yeah, a plus relevant meter. It's actually further up, like up.
Oh, okay.
Around the corner.
Yeah, we can show you
Yeah,
afterward.
we'll go out there and take a look,
Yeah.
see if we can see it.
Yeah, lady's house that was.
But again,
behind
this
the
may
barn.
be beyond,
Oh, it's gonna be too far away.
so,
No, we will make it on bar.
As far as you go.
so.
To do that, I think I would just come over here like this and come.
Across, yeah.
Yeah,
Or actually just go down to the dirt, come across. You're not removing.
but in either case, this same concept is gonna have to be moved down the road to fit our budget. That we're gonna have to make a connection.
Well, that doesn't need to be a 6-inch line. Because it's just one line.
2 inch, 1 inch.
Well, I
We're
think,
actually not supposed to be servicing anything outside of cattle.
Yeah.
oh, county guard.
That's just one of those.
That's the end of it, so we don't need to put a 6-inch line past the cattle.
Well, I think, I mean, this would be the connection back up to the tank, wouldn't it, coming up Sixth Street?
Especially Fourth Street.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, we just take their existing connection and just connect right into it, and we don't worry about the rest.
We will make that park anyway.
So do we want to consider a different line size,
Well, turn back
in
over.
Tennessee past,
See,
yeah,
the house is out here, somehow it's getting water out here, right?
right.
So let's just plug into its current connection.
Probably the 2 inch line, because that's what our valve.
Right, so I think we're saying the same thing, we'll just make sure to connect the new system to the existing system.
Yeah.
Cross service, and then it won't be an issue, but it will continue to be a 6-inch main, because I think eventually, well, I don't know, in order to service a hydrant, it has to be a 6-inch main, and so I would say, we don't want to install anything less than a 6-inch main.
Right, right.
Yeah, for the hydrant, yeah.
That's our opinion. So, let's see, water mains under the CPs, I think we talked about that.
Not too far back to.
I just have a really quick question. When we're talking about Maine, what part of the town is Maine? Is it just Tennessee? Or
No,
are
it's
we-
Second Street coming up and across Tennessee.
No, I know, but how much more of the town than what we're trying to get afforded today are we putting down as Maine as opposed to just,
Like she's trying to make it like future loops and stuff.
Yeah.
This would be phase 1.
Yeah.
no, I understand that, but I'm just asking, what future requirements are going to need 6-inch lines?
Everywhere there's a hydrant.
Every street? Or just all the same hydrants?
I think everything that, where there's a hydrant on it,
Okay.
and, I mean,
Possible future growth.
Yeah, that's
Any of these areas that we have in town that don't have any lots or have lengthy lots, you gotta think ahead of, they might hook into it, so you're gonna have to have
That's
enough.
fine, I was just.
Have enough to
Because it would be like,
We
where
got
Third
the-
Street goes across, it'll have to be a 6-inch line because it's got 2 hydrants on it. Plus it hooks up back to the main line down here, so we've got a loop.
It almost kind of sounds like all of the streets need to be made, or should be.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
that's what I wanted to
maybe
know.
a little bit of what you're getting at. There's a cost that's associated with pipe size,
Uh-huh,
but that's usually minimal compared to the trenching and the work that you put in.
yeah.
And so oftentimes, even a 6-inch main is a small main anymore. If you put in a 6-inch main, it may be more expensive than putting in an 8-inch main because the supply of piping and availability of it and the fittings might be less expensive than putting in a smaller diameter main. So you're
Is
not
that the case
necessarily,
here?
that's the case in a lot of, you have to look at, the prices for piping and fixtures fluctuates quite a bit based on commodities, oil and steel. Steel prices, Chris was telling us the other day that if you try and get a price for metal, they won't guarantee it for more than 48 hours right now, just because of the volatility in the market. And so there's a lot of fluctuation in commodity prices. So the thinking generally that if we go to a smaller diameter main, that we're going to save money isn't necessarily valid.
Okay.
It could be more expensive actually to put in a 3-inch diameter because it's an odd size and it's harder to get and,
Right.
and it's a longer lead time or whatever than it would be to put in
Right.
And then that puts into my bitch, I keep this as more parts and material that we have to have on stock. If you hold 6-inch or 4-inch, you're holding repair parts and sleeves for those. And if you start getting into 3s, then you
But if ever
just add
5-6
more,
yeah, we
add more expense for.
Plus we haven't had that.
Makes it easier for you to maintenance.
Because right now, every time I see a fire truck in town, I'm on it. If you use that, tell us, because we gotta turn the pumps on.
Right.
Okay, so now if the materials are gonna be less at 8-inch, is this set of plans
Well, let me stop you
flexible
there.
enough
You don't
to?
know until you bid. until
Right.
you get-
I know, that's what I'm saying, are these, will this work then? We can
Yeah.
just change everything to 8 and be fine?
If you wanted, we could add a bid alternate for 8 and see if the price comes in comparable or lower or higher.
That's up to you
The
guys, but
main
I would
trunk
say,
line, I think the main trunk line, and that's what we're looking at now, because everything runs, basically Tennessee, from what I can tell, is, I would agree on that aspect, if you could get 8-inch from down there at the end and run 8-inch all the way up, I would be okay with that, and then off of that, run your.
I just want whatever is
sixes.
cheapest.
Yeah,
And still work, I mean, I want it to work obviously, but,
but it's usually a wash between a 6 and an 8-inch.
okay.
And so I think we probably should add an alternate.
If we had 8-inch, would there be a significant drop in friction loss?
Yes. It flows water a lot better, the pressures would be better, the flow would be better.
It holds more water. Like, it's just
You'd be able to, you'd be able to provide real fire flow, because even a 6-inch system, when you talk about fire flows through a 6-inch system, you're only gonna get, 500, 600, 700 gallons a minute
Yeah,
But-
well, we put an alternate in there for 8-inch.
for 8-inch.
Yeah.
I think that would
in
be,
phase one.
that would be
Let's take a look at
smart.
it.
For this trunk system, for 2nd and Tennessee, I think that would be wise.
Okay, let's do that.
I agree, since we're really not going to system anyway,
Yeah,
that we ought to put in 8-inch one.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And I imagine, again, prices are pretty volatile, but there probably won't be any.
There can't be a lot of difference.
Between a 6-inch and
Yeah.
an 8-inch, so, but we'll figure it out. We'll see which one's cheaper. You guys will have to decide. So, let's see, where were we? All intersections are designed with a cross and the full 4-valve clusters. which, you know, it provides a lot of flexibility in your system. For this part of your system, I think we would recommend a valve on
Each corner.
each leg of the cross. It's a bunch of money, but because we're connecting back to existing aged systems, it will give you an option to shut it down. And
Where we look into existing stuff, I agree.
Mhm.
But if you're running up a street and there is none and you're putting a T in,
We could put it on one leg or the other.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
That's what I would do, yeah.
For the most part, I'm not putting any on.
Okay, then,
Yeah. So really that comes back to the question is, do you want any mainline in your house? Like space so many thousand feet or 500 feet or, you know where valves. For the most part, your intersections are laid out pretty nice. We're gonna have crosses.
that's where I think.
And it's gonna be pretty nice going down Tennessee. We're gonna have crosses all four ways.
What we do now, if we go into I think every intersection, if you have that,
Yeah.
as an operator, I mean, ideally.
And have a valve on all four.
well, that's the discussion.
Yeah, and then the same thing with T's. So when I come to a road that like Sonoma only goes one direction, so that T is a valve, so a
Yeah.
3-valve cluster.
Yeah,
But I'm not doing it on back deck connections. Those are just T's back to a 90. You can cut it off the valve when you're ready to tie back in. I'm not trying to add stuff that's unnecessary.
no.
Just trying to make your system as easy as possible.
Thank you.
Is that, we're all agreed?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess you could say it's not our
Way to do it.
We've done that water system before.
So we usually try to make it so it's maintenance friendly.
Well, no,
Not so much what those guys want, but what the maintenance guy wants.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked in that?
Yes.
Put the more shit in.
I'll answer
the
that,
more
yes,
stuff
I
in. You know, they're
Let's-
going
yeah,
everywhere.
Let's not talk about that.
Drives you crazy.
Moving on.
Okay, so, some direction on the valves. We're on item number 5. Ends of service lines are designed with a hydrant. So there's, again, back to the operator. Blow off is a cheaper alternative to end a main line, which is, you come up to, you build your pipe, you put a cap on the end, then you put almost a service on that, a 2-inch line, and it comes up to a valve that you can blow it off. We've put hydrants on the ends of the lines, which is again an additional expense, but it's easier to blow off, easier to operate sometimes. They wouldn't be, the blow-offs are in a box at grade, they could be buried and lost. So do you have a preference one way or the other? Do we put hydrants or
yeah.
blow-offs or?
I believe in blow-offs
Okay.
and putting a hydrant
Yeah.
or a fire hydrant, I call
Something.
it, a hose end on it,
Uh-huh.
so that way they can hook a hose onto it.
Yeah, they have to, yeah. And
That's how I used to do it, but
Okay.
I mean, I'd rather not see a hydrant. You're pushing all your junk to that end,
Yeah,
and a hydrant can get screwed up very easy,
Yeah.
and have a dead end line. I mean, that's just my experience of all the years of fire.
But we gotta keep them visible.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm okay. Where we came from, I mean, freezing, but we still had our hydrant. We had a valve that was buried, and then the 2-inch came up out of the ground
yeah.
like
Yeah.
this, and then it turned, and then it had a hydrant
Yeah.
or adapter on it. That way we could pull up there with our, because we didn't want to waste water, so we would pull up there with our tanker, flush into it, and then go use it for parks and recreation or so
yeah.
whatever.
So let's not bury all this stuff where it gets forgotten.
Well, it's just if it's buried under the ground, it's sight unseen, and then you forget it. It's hard
Yeah,
to
that's it.
find, and we paint it, we put a marker on it,
Yeah.
and that way he knows where it's at. You have a valve down there that just turn it on
Okay,
and brings it up.
is that what we want? We do custom blow off with the fire department connection.
Yeah.
How many of them-
2-inch fire department.
Maybe we'll
how
put,
many of them are we actually talking about?
well, at this phase, it would just be,
Just a pipe.
actually on the west end of Tennessee, now we're ending in a hydrant. On the east end of Tennessee would be
We've already got
this
a-
condition.
You already have your
We've already
hydrant.
got a
There's a
flush
hydrant
valve
there.
there.
So
At the end of
I guess it's
Tennessee.
kind
And
of.
then right now, there's no other, so we're connecting on Second, that just continues to flow south, and we'll talk about Second Street. That's a mess up there.
We're just talking about one valve, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of a moot point at this point. So,
Well, I'll get it drawn up to where they have a phase 2, phase 3.
Yeah, let's set a precedent to do it throughout.
something like that.
Yeah.
This is chloride, man.
But from here on out, that's how we'll do it.
Yes.
Okay.
This is me, that's a.
Oh, no, I agree 100%.
Should we put a
I
partial
like the
fire
word,
on there?
I speak for the trees.
No. I've been operating for 30 years.
Maybe we should change the detail to the just so that you know. Okay, task number 5, number 6. Service lines to VFW shows, well, here's the main topic point. We're, the way we have the note on the plans now is we have a 1-inch service line, meaning there's the main, the water main, and then there's a connection to the main, which would be a 1-inch copper connection to that line. Is that
At the VFW? Are you talking VFW or just?
everywhere?
I would prefer, well, we have 3/4 inch right now.
Okay.
I would say we should go with municipal packs.
3/4, 5/8 is what.
3/4 and 5/8?
That's
Okay.
what our meters
So
are.
we'll change that to be a 3/4, well, what?
I don't know what's that to be a W, if it's a 1 inch.
That's pretty much 2 inch.
That's the discussion point, because there's the VFW, it will be an exception. Are there any other
Yeah, the RV park.
exceptions?
The RV park.
The RV park has a, how big is that one?
2 inch.
2 inch.
So both of those, we will maintain a 2-inch.
Yeah.
Because they both have parking spaces for
What
trailers.
did yesterday say?
They just have 3/4 inch.
Was yesterday's agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we change that?
Is that something that
Aren't
we
they
should
required to have a
upgrade?
2 inch?
I don't know that, you might want to talk to Dean about that because it's going to cost him quite a bit of money too.
If you have.
Well, we could put a 2 inch on our line, then we dug down to 3/4.
That's, yeah, I mean, we can. I mean, I'm not-
But it's nice for us to be.
Typically restaurants have a
Where it
bigger
should
line.
And the RV park behind.
His are.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them on there.
So which ones are you aware of?
No, I mean the one behind it.
The RV park says.
Yeah, not the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just need a general idea.
Yeah, that's what
I'm sure it's 3/4 now, but.
If we put 2 inch service
Less than
there,
one.
then it becomes time where they decide to put,
Yeah.
for them to be legal.
Yeah, I have no problem with
We'll
that.
already done it.
Yeah.
I'll do a 2 inch.
Not that big a deal to put a 2
Well,
inch.
here's something to consider there. A lot of water companies charge more for different size meters. And so if somebody comes in and says, we want to serve 20 people, then that's when you can say, well, pay up.
Well, they'll put the different, bigger size meter.
We'll put in this new meter, actually charge them, make them pay for it, and say, we will provide you this water, but you're gonna have to pay for the new meter. and
All I'm thinking is
fees.
that we should take services that we know require 2 inch and put a 2 inch in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether they have a 2 inch,
Yeah, that's fine. They can go there if they want. They could have a 1/2 inch, I don't
it
care.
won't cost them anything.
Yeah.
And we'll be prepared. We won't
And if they
have.
have like a 2 inch, and they have multiple 1 or 3/4, they can hook all.
Yeah, they
the
can.
2 inches.
Yeah, that way they don't have to dig up our pipe and put it
Yeah,
in.
just the VFW, the RV park, and then the restaurant.
In the restaurant,
Both RV
So
parks.
three.
Oh, yeah, that's just.
Yeah, there's one behind the
The
restaurant.
RV park behind.
So
Yesterday's has a
four.
service center.
4 2-inch services.
Yeah.
And then the rest are going to be 3/4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3/4, 5/8.
3/4,
3/4, 5/8 is.
and then the 5/8 will be, an option to put the small
I
meter if you want.
think municipal packs would be better than copper, which is my opinion.
Okay, that's fine too.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to work on.
The pegs, and it's probably better out here in this zone,
Yeah, so.
Well- Laptop or.
yeah.
Plus the fact that we don't have to install any meters, we've already got.
Yeah.
And you already have all that, so.
So we're maintaining existing meters?
No, well, that's another talking point, but our service.
There are a couple other places, what now is the junk store next to the post office. That was a restaurant or bar at one time. That should probably have a 2
The
inch.
Prospector, you mean?
No,
Or
no,
Digger Davis
Tennessee.
or whatever?
Tennessee bar.
And also,
They'd be okay with the.
well, yeah,
I
well,
would be okay with the 1 inch of those, because 1
Digger
inch.
Davis, right?
Bigger Dave's and the other, antique store, but
Oh, the
I can't
antenna.
see a 2-inch or 1-inch.
Yeah, well, I don't know I don't remember what size is required for a commercial, but is it 1 inch?
I forgot about prospector too, that should be
But
definitely.
then there's also the old gas station across the street that Dean owns,
I don't even know if they have.
and those three buildings that are there.
Yeah, I think it's on the, on Second Street.
1-inch would handle
I'm
those.
pretty sure it runs up the back behind the restaurant. We might even get that meter up.
I don't know what they have for meter now there.
3/4.
They bid 3/4.
They have 1 meter for all 3 buildings.
Well, Ray's got a good question here, I mean, because we'll put in a 3/4 inch service line from the main to the yoke, and the yoke will be the 3/4, 5/8. But do we need to know what the existing is?
Say that again.
Well, all of our existing, except for the 2-inch, are 3/4, 5/8.
Okay.
So
So,
all of the old yokes that we have are that, for that.
So the question is, I mean, if it's a 5/8 inch meter, do we need to, because we're putting in a new one, right? We can't
We
take.
have sufficient meters, and they're almost all
I don't know if I go
less
that
than
far.
5 years old.
All right, so we're not replacing meters.
No,
We would make the connection
Or what?
That's what he said.
standard.
or we're downstream of the meter.
We're not replacing.
Well, we call it 3/4, 5/8 because that's what ours are labeled. So that's just a standard 3/4 inch hookup
Yeah.
for our meters.
Yeah.
So the meters would
So
stay.
we just need a new saddle to the existing meter.
Oh, did we?
They don't have to make-
We could, though.
If they get it replaced, there's no reason to have
Yeah,
a separate meter box.
Yes.
Thing, you
So
know,
that'll save a bunch of money.
That's gonna save us a lot of money, I think, yeah.
Where wires down there, we've got 3 places.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Dean place, one.
Yeah, I mean, my vote is for
Yeah.
replacing them as necessary, we don't need to have them do it. The meters.
Yeah.
Jones is in our water line.
Block them off.
Yeah. So just to wrap up that discussion item, we have 4 2-inch services.
Five at least.
5, yeah.
Because the prospector, and I don't know, you guys were discussing the post office, so I don't.
He's back
Well,
through.
not supposed to.
I know.
Couldn't remember one around these burgers.
So,
Okay, let's have one meeting,
Huh?
We can't.
one meeting.
We got too many
We
discussions.
got too many meetings going on here.
So I have the RV park, the restaurant, would be okay for 2-inch. Who else has a 2-inch?
Nobody. Nobody else
So
has
the
one.
prospector needs bigger than 3/4, so what are you saying, the prospector should do with a 1, or should we go?
1-inch, I mean, they can handle a 1.
What's the difference between a 1 and a 2 with price?
Meter
It
wise?
jumps up.
yeah, it does jump up. And again, we'll have to get some prices on it, but.
But could we put in a 2 just to be consistent, and they could duck it down to a 1 or a 3/4?
Yeah, the price increase would come at the meter. We'd have to install a 2-inch meter, which is like, I'm not sure if it's triple the cost or it's at least, right?
It's at least.
Yeah, it's at least.
I'm just talking about the connection to the pipe. So if we put, if the connection to the main line, where we connect there, is a 2-inch, then we can reduce it down to whatever size we're gonna have after the feeder line. I'm just saying that if we put in a 3/4 and we suddenly decide we need a 1-inch, how much is it gonna cost to dig that thing up and change it? Why don't we just put it in now?
That, I agree with that, and the other side of that is, whenever you're trying to predict what's gonna happen in the future and what water demands are going to be, you're always wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm thinking we may as well use the knowledge we have now and at least be prepared for the future rather than saying, well, we'll just take the pipe out again and change it.
Are you talking about when you hook onto the main, run 2-inch all the way into the?
No, I'm just talking about the connection on
Ain't
the
worth
main
it,
line.
ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Did you gotta dig out there up the main anyway? To dig up to the main, all you're talking about is a saddle.
Yeah.
It-
The saddle's about 150.
Well, you're talking about more than that because it takes a little bit more to dig out that main line and get all around it and take the old one
You're
off.
doing that
and put
anyway.
one on.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is, the way that the service line works, the way that it shuts off is at the main. And in
Right.
order to work on it at all, you have to dig
I
back to the
understand.
main.
We could run 2-inch over to the side, I don't know.
Well, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
If you brought the 2 inch across and then you reduce it,
Then reduce
then
it,
I can understand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bring, bring
Not
2 inches up to the meter.
Yeah.
And then we get exactly what you need.
Okay.
Get up to the meter
So-
and reduce it
Yeah.
right there.
So
Yeah.
where is this one gonna happen? This is at,
It's at the corner of Second and Tennessee.
Second in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, wait a
South,
minute.
the
It's
southwest
behind.
corner.
There's 2 places.
Yeah, it's behind the post office.
Oh, that's the other one. We're
Yeah, there's
talking
2
about-
places at the corner of Tennessee and Second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 inch.
So
Prospector
We're
and,
talking about that.
Okay, yeah.
whatever.
Where is the meter for the junk store?
I don't know.
Does it come off the main line, or does it
For
come
what?
off Second Street?
This is a.
Or that second hand store, I can never
I have
remember
a
the name of it.
question. I have a
Post
question.
office. Comes up.
The post,
I think it comes,
Behind the post office.
I
it
have
comes
a
off of
question.
Second Street.
Yes.
Does that?
Is all that fed by the same meter?
Now,
yes.
No. There's 2 separate meters, one for the post office, one for the
But they're
store.
both on Second Street.
Yes.
Yes.
So then we're not worried about it on the main line.
No.
Yeah, they're both on Second Street.
So, but is there any water used there?
Well-
Except for the post office?
Except for the post office, the other guy's off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But he has, everything's there.
Oh,
But we're not gonna be,
so-
we're not gonna be fiddling with that, so we don't have to worry.
Yeah, that's not on the main line.
No, that's not in our budget.
And what about the one at the Prospector? Where's that meter?
It's on Second Street, just about 65 feet from the corner down.
Yeah,
That's where that power pole is. About where that power pole is.
yeah, right next to that.
Yeah,
About, I think.
yeah. And then the other one that you're talking about where those 3 buildings are is right across the street. So, yeah, that's a good, they gotta go anyway. You put a T there, you got a 2 inch and a 2 inch.
So we could put in a 2 inch for each one of them, stub them out off the side and then reduce from there.
Yeah,
Okay,
that way we're done with that.
all right, so we decided this,
Yeah.
so we got,
Do they know what you're talking about?
I think we've got.
I think so.
There's five of these spaces, right? 5 spots, this is that.
1, 2, 3,
6 now.
4, 5. I think 5.
5, yeah.
I think 5 is
5, yeah.
What's,
Yeah.
what's your,
Three,
Nope, that's
2
fine.
RV parks, Prospector, and 1 across the street.
Yeah, yep, 5, okay.
so now that we're down this road, there's several lots throughout town that do not have services currently. Are we going to put a service to vacant lots?
I don't think so.
No.
Say one, I don't think so.
No.
They may never get developed.
If anybody wants to service on a vacant lot, they can make it
It's not like a subdivision.
then at some point in time.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put in a lot of services that just are gonna have a second around 10 years.
Or somebody buys a lot and puts a shed on it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, that's all, or whatever it's called.
It's not hard on the
Yeah.
You just saved $160,000 with this.
Goals. Keep going.
So I think we're down to number 6, number 7, service meters can save costs overall. I think we already addressed that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Number 8, who's installing the water meters? We're not doing new meters, right? We're
Right.
connecting a new service to the existing meter. Okay. The plans show to remove and replace signs in kind. We're trying to save money and run the water main either on the edge or outside of pavement so that we're not spending money on pavement replacement. But we're going to conflict in a few areas with existing road signs. What's that?
I didn't put on that, I worked with them,
Oh, okay.
with the county surveyor, actually, but the sign department's right downstairs, so I can talk to them, they're working on Friday. So I can answer
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the question is, does the town of Chloride have a sign
It's
division
the
or
county.
it's all county?
It's all county.
It's all county driven, and so we'll have to get some input from them,
Yeah,
from
I
you.
can talk to them.
And because there'll be some signs that are gonna be removed, and sometimes they're damaged when they're removed, and if you put in a new sign, it might require a different standard. Instead of just driving a post in, you might have to put concrete or a different
Yeah,
style of
they'll probably
post,
do
or, So if we could get all that information from you, that would be.
Yeah, it's called county standards.
Yeah, all stuff that's signed, guys.
There's only Second Street and Tennessee and a couple other streets. I mean, even though they get graded once in a while after the rain, the county doesn't really maintain them.
But the signs they care about.
Yeah, signs.
Yeah.
And they're an important part of traffic control.
Yeah.
The speed limit, the warning signs or whatever, so.
I think we should put a toll gate at every cattle prod.
Send a guard booth,
So just give me a booth and some shotguns, you know, we'll handle it.
he's got it covered. Okay, number 9, we just talked about. Number 10, is there any need for any, we talked about that, the inline gate valve. There is a requirement, MAG usually says 500 feet in residential areas or 800 feet in commercial areas. So we'll look at, valve placement, and we'll get another shot at how many valves are actually put in. Another chance to review, I guess, is. So.
But essentially, I shut offs at every intersection.
Yes.
We just did a stretch from like Second Street to VFW pretty much.
Yeah, the long stretch.
As far as I'm concerned, we have a valve on the top end, that is such a long stretch, that when anyone's on it, there's no.
There's one down by the RV park, isn't it? A valve?
Yeah, there's
Yes.
a
It's all down there,
section
yeah,
of
like
That's all I have.
Yeah, okay. Number 11, there are several.
Speaking of that, you might consider putting in a T with valves at First Street.
Well,
Without knowing what they plan on doing.
So you're talking about right here, heading to the south on First Street?
Yeah, right now there's some more cut together, 1-inch line coming off it. Somebody put in.
We could put a stub out there or a hydrant or
I'm
something.
only thinking for the future, where if people start,
well,
tying
yeah,
lines,
because there's a lot of
I'd
maintenance
want to
down
put
here.
one down on First Street anyway, so. if we
Well,
put a-
let me turn to that thing.
Yeah.
I think our water main is on the outside of the pavement. So it would be, and it's on the south side, isn't it, on Tennessee, in that area? So it would be relatively easy to connect.
Well,
to
where is that again?
We're on sheet 7 here.
Yeah, it's a big one. See it a lot.
There's a number of problems down there at First Street. There's several lots. Actually, there's a 1-inch classic line that goes down here, and I don't remember who it feeds. Maybe these and these, I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
So that we're gonna need to
It comes up from here, up that way, and goes up Tennessee this way.
Oh, it doesn't connect to here?
No.
Well, there's another reason we should
Two
take it
3/4-inch lines, there's a fire hydrant right here, and there's 2 3/4-inch lines that come off and go up here, and then go over here to service these two.
Some wonder why
Or
there's so
two
many
down,
leaks.
two.
We might consider here putting a
See,
Yeah, we can stick a T on it.
see.
putting a T in here and just put a, what you call it, a black flange or
Yeah.
whatever on that side, but then a valve on either side on Tennessee.
Yeah, so we can serve.
Stick a T
That
right
helps
there.
us
have to.
Because this eventually is gonna have to be shut off.
Yeah, something will happen to there one of these days.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll add a T at the intersection of First Street
Oh,
and
that brings
Tennessee.
to mind another question.
How do we tie that in?
The RV park. Now, it has a valve, but it's on the upside of our meter. And if we want to shut off the VFW and those 3 houses down there, we've got to shut off the
RV
whole
park.
area. The RV park was dead for long for it down there.
Is that 6-inch
That's
gate?
what I was-
Do that for how many more years?
Between the RV
It
park
would be nice
and
if
the
we
VFW?
it would be really nice if we had
If
that.
we got, where the RV park is, like, okay, there's your RV
Still,
park. And here,
It literally, it's
we
like.
got
I
a
know,
valve here.
but having to shut off the
It shuts off,
RV
but when we shut this off,
To
we
do
go
something
downstream, it
and
shuts
work
the
on
car
fire
off
hydrant where we
too.
sit.
So if we had a valve on that side, then we could shut those people off, but not that.
Shuts off the park and the 3 people out of the
Yeah, well, it shuts off RV park, everybody.
Yeah.
So if we had it right here, then we could do that. without shutting it off.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking.
Okay.
And that's a real big problem.
That's a good idea, Ron. What about just moving that valve down?
Yeah, if you just put the valve right on where it should be. Down there.
Just move it to the downstream side.
Yeah, this is north. Okay, here's the valve, and here's the east, kind of west piece. See, and what I'm saying is the valve should be here.
Okay.
Yeah,
We don't care about that one. We've got our.
that is an issue.
Well, that will be a
This is where
jam.
their main line is.
Yeah.
Why
So
can't we
then
move it?
this shuts it down, but at least that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what we're, let me give this
This is
overview.
the,
Ben, show me where you're talking about.
Okay. Okay, here's Tennessee. All right. Now, where's the road to the gravel pit? Should be right here. Okay, now see, so the RV park is right about in here.
okay.
I think I'm right.
Yeah, this must be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that must be the RV
All right,
park.
now, our existing line, is this it? On your line, on your?
The existing line is not shown, but it's.
Well, that's close.
I mean, on the sheet says now that we know what area we're in.
Okay. Okay, Tennessee. Where's the RV? Where's the other?
Well, that's down here.
That's down the other,
It's further down.
wrong sheet.
Okay, wait a minute.
Here's that. There's
Did we get the area?
It's right away here.
From the area? Can you turn that on, that on?
What's this?
That's a driveway.
So where?
This is an opening of road.
That's why
From Tennessee, that doesn't exist.
Well, find that fire hydrant down there first, and you can see
Dirt
where
road.
Okay, where's the fire hydrant at?
west of that.
That's where we start. That's a better.
That's the wrong sheet.
Yeah.
Here's where we're talking
Existing
about.
hydrants here.
There.
Okay,
Coming down, here's where
now,
this.
so the VFW is right here.
Right here.
The VFW is right here,
Yeah.
up there.
Yep.
All right, now, so the
Fiber optic.
RV parking.
These are three houses, yes. They're.
okay, so here's the
RV
RV
park
park.
is probably over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were.
So the sheet
Where's
is
the
on there.
shoot? Because they don't have here. Come on, quit.
Come on, Ben.
Lick your finger.
I don't know where to get that.
Okay, don't lick it.
All right, which one about, that's up
It's
there?
probably up in here.
Yeah, probably.
There's that house, and then I think your RV.
Oh, yeah, this is
Okay,
the
that's
RV
it.
park right here.
Yeah.
There's
Okay, where's the?
Should be
I get over here.
Should be right in here somewhere.
Now if you go down here,
Here's your hydrant. That's the existing one here.
Okay, yeah, because this would be where she.
This is the one on the corner of the property.
That's the RV
Yeah.
park.
So now
Their
there's
service is right
somewhere here there's a service, and there should be a valve.
There's two valves back here. There's a valve right there.
Okay, which is the main line?
This right here, this six.
This right.
96.
Oh, okay.
One lighter one.
Okay, so what we're trying
That's
to
that
do,
valve right there.
okay, this valve needs to be moved over there,
Okay.
because that way it lets them have water while we work downstream.
Yeah.
Valve over here.
Can we just move the one that's there?
Well,
Well, we're putting new in.
well, yeah, I don't
maybe we
want
need to
junk
talk about
valves.
this connection here, because what we have designed here is just a 2-inch connection on a new main that will connect back to this existing 2-inch service, right? And so the valving, the existing valving won't make any difference.
Yeah, okay, that's, so when you put the new valve in, you just put a valve there.
So you can close that off without shutting everybody down.
Yeah,
Right.
perfect.
Because right now it's on the side. Shut this up, shut that right off.
Work down the street, we shut them off.
Okay, you shut that off,
Yeah,
keeps the RV service.
Okay. We're good?
Cool.
So what do you want me to ask the planning department?
What is their standard?
Standard.
Do they have a standard
roadside
detail?
replacement.
Okay, I can get that max, that's what
If they're using mag, we can get the mag details on here. If it's something, if they have a special
Yeah,
county
if you have a Mojave
detail.
County.
Yeah, they got it.
it's. I just want to make sure I ask the question right.
Yeah.
It's not my area.
It'll
Yeah.
tell us, what kind of signpost are we putting back, what kind of
Yeah, sign.
foundation,
Signpost
using.
detail.
Yeah. Just drive it in.
Yeah, rather than a T-post. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That one on Second Street.
That's my neighbor Mark.
Hang on, number 11.
Yeah.
There are, number 11, there are several lines at the north end of Second Street. Plans show location
Yeah.
for cut and cap at 2-inch and 3-inch lines. Can you verify these lines, locations, and existence of where we want to connect back to them?
Yeah, well, see, there's a couple, that's where we live. We live right there.
We don't care to show off.
Yeah, we don't need any water.
Well, right now, I show a 2-inch going this way, I show a 2-inch here, I
Yeah,
show a
that's
2-inch
right,
going
you
that
are.
way.
Oh, I know this
3-inch
3-inch
coming
here.
down.
I know it's there.
So on, go here.
Again, north of
So here I'm coming with a T, I'm gonna come back.
Oh, your north is that way.
Yeah, north is that way.
So I'm gonna tie it back into this 2-inch with this. But I don't know if that 2-inch exists going this way. Are there really two on both sides of the street?
No, there are not.
I don't think
Which
so.
side is it on?
On the north side.
Okay, so this one.
Because I was out there just the other day and I had to do a locate for him to put his fence up.
So I'm tying to the right one, that one doesn't exist.
Okay, now, up here, where it comes in, your house is where, okay? Where's it?
No damn road, kind of like that.
That's it, that's it. Your house is over here.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a name.
It comes right here. It's like this side.
No name, it's like the horse.
Yeah,
It's basically a right of way.
yeah. Okay, so we have, this is a new line, where's the old one?
Here, the old line
Yeah.
is.
The one I'm saying.
Here.
Okay,
There's that one that comes right across.
And then this one comes across, goes up that way.
Yeah.
That's the one that's over by the.
Quicker and whatever that's the way to
So what
Right
I'm
here,
doing
this is
here,
here, we know that for certain, and this is here for certain.
Yeah, I think we did put that.
so I'm coming across this way with a T. I'm gonna
That's
go
his
over
house.
here and put a T.
No, that's in his house.
Oh,
Is that a problem?
This is where the main, this 2-inch line goes across here.
Not from where I said.
yeah, this. Okay, well, I'm in the road right
Wait a
here.
minute, no, here's,
Because he's the railroad property. So it's around that.
So there's this 3-inch line right here, and then this 2-inch.
okay, I'm sorry,
this
that's
way.
correct. I'm still looking flat,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And then this is the edge of the road right here.
Okay.
And so what I'm doing is I'm coming off of a T here to a T here to a T there to keep this 2-inch.
Okay, now, so his
in
fence will be
service.
right about here then.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
over here in the road.
So you'll be in the middle of
Yeah.
it. Okay.
And so I put the T there, but then I was gonna come back, have the contractor find and locate this point right here,
Mhm.
cut and cap that. So it keeps water going this direction, and then that's cut off because this 3-inch down here is gonna get abandoned by this 6-inch, and we're gonna come over here, we're gonna tie it
Okay.
in this
that's
new
fine.
2-inch, so this will go away, this all goes away. And there's
So
something
then,
that
then
starts
it
to go
would feed
away.
him from here, that's in your alleyway almost,
Yep.
and up that way.
Yep. So this 2-inch and that 2-inch here staying active, and then I'm just cutting the cap right there. That was my
No, can't. This is an active line.
I know, I'm gonna cut on this one.
That goes over to Nadine's, and the depot right here. There's a water line here.
This go to the DD.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this 3 comes
They should be getting
up,
their water off of
this
this.
3 comes up, goes over to a 2, goes over to a 2, and I'm keeping that active, and this line's landing in it here, putting this T here, so water's gonna continue that way, water's gonna continue straight up this way.
Okay.
Do we need to continue the 6-inch all the way up here?
But then I'm bringing the 6-inch all
That
the
is
way up
what-
to here, and I'm dead ending it with a T
Uh-uh,
right here.
this is, this is.
The house there.
We need to end it down here.
Yeah. See, this doesn't go dead inch to start with, this is, this one
Okay.
comes across here, and her meter is over here.
Recording.
As we're looking at the future, was we were gonna get this line instead of coming across this way.
We don't need to make the
We're
video.
gonna put a new
great quality.
6-inch coming along this way.
What private drive is
Easy way to
that?
do the minutes,
It's
right?
up at the top
That's
of
in
the
Nadine's
Central
place.
Street.
Oh, Nadine's.
See, here's her bridge,
But if I do it right here, and this two inch stays right here,
We could stop it right there.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
because that's private property.
well, I'm just gonna stop and do 6 inch.
Yeah.
Well, we get rid of 6 inch. She has a just in line.
No, comes across here and across there.
And then comes over to the other, because her meter's down.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the line came across this way.
Here's the driveway. Here's the driveway. It comes across here.
Right now, my blind plan, this T right here, my blind plan's that T right there.
Yeah.
It'll come over here, it'll still maintain water 2 inch over there.
Yeah.
And I'll
Because
set
that'll take
it
care of
up
her
right
and
there,
that and that.
Okay,
Because bed and breakfast is over here,
okay.
about right there.
Yeah.
And then there's hers, but hers, she gets hers off there. Her meter is right down here. And it goes up to her house. And this comes over here and supplies that, and this place here.
So it must come over here.
Well, it just comes over here and right here. And
Okay,
then it comes across the wash here.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna eliminate this here?
Yep.
Yeah. But this is new.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're good with that one?
Are they gonna work on the 6 that we have, or does it have to be upsized?
No, they'll make 6 inch PRVs,
Okay.
but that's, let's finish up this one here. and then-
So that T will maintain water to the,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then we'll just tie it.
And eventually I want to go work our meters for our back porch.
Oh, really?
I mean, literally right next to the back porch.
So we're good? We're good here? Number 12, talk about PRVs. A PRV is a pressure reducing, meaning that you have different zones within the town system operating at different pressure. So the question is there a need for that in this new portion of backbone that we're doing? And where will the pressure zones be within the
I
town?
don't think so, since the water's going both directions.
I don't know.
There's no pressure valves in there now.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, there are five.
Not in the main line.
Not on the main line.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about, the main line.
Yeah, we're talking about the main.
Okay.
So
We've
that's,
already got pressure regulators where we need them
They don't work.
in some areas.
that's what we need to talk about, is where do we need to regulate pressures? Do we want to, anymore, if you put in larger municipalities, if you put a service onto a main, then they'll require you to put an individual pressure reducing valve that's owned and maintained by the property owner. Is that something that we want to do here? Or is there?
So we recommend everybody put a pressure regulator.
Okay.
So we have some extra pressure valves on the main line, well, on the 3-inch line
Mhm.
there, and then over on payroll, Rainbow.
Do we need them? Okay, I guess that's the question.
If we're requiring, gonna make sure they have new ones, I don't think we need them.
We're dealing with new pipe, we're dealing with a new system. It won't have the maintenance problems that you have. And is that why you have the PRVs, is because you're trying to?
I think they had extra money and they spent it.
Because that's,
Pressure regulator, there was a whole, PRV block up on Fourth up there, and, they took the money and never installed them.
oh, really?
I wondered about that.
So.
You don't want to be too sincere about reading the as-built plans.
Yeah. When you talk about PRVs, you talking about the individual homeowner ones or ones on like?
No,
Well,
on the main line.
On the main
So
line.
right now, it's Second in Tennessee, there's one at Second in Tennessee, but I come back and I connect from Tennessee, or somewhere else. I come back and I
One right
connect
at the post
at,
office, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
at post office. I connect
Yeah.
before the PRV, so I'm not disturbing them, I'm leaving them in place.
Okay.
But eventually, our plans are gonna show replacement of all the plans, of all the water system in the entire area. But when we go buy those, are we gonna leave them, or are we gonna put new ones in? Or are we just gonna require the owner to do it past their?
That's the main question. What is your system operating pressure?
On the second floor.
when do the pumps come on?
Yeah.
What pressures are gonna be seen at the
I think
individual
that's what they're
properties?
for,
Yeah,
in
no,
those areas.
I learned because like you said, when the pump kicks on, you said it was getting way high, and
Yeah.
then then once the pumps are shut down, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go from 160 to about 40, you know.
So it's a 160 is the high end of your
I
pressure,
think that's about it, isn't it?
Pretty much in town, yeah.
We just measured it the other day.
and then
Yeah.
40 is the low. So I guess, where do we need them? I guess
Well, that's also a Richard question, because he's the one studying that going through.
If your water's going both directions,
Mhm.
does the, what happens to the pressure reducer?
Same thing,
Right.
it compensates.
Yeah.
It'll go, the water goes both directions?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it goes one direction through it.
They only go one direction.
Yeah, you're, okay,
You
yeah,
gotta
you're
check
right.
that out at one end.
Oh,
Yeah,
but it's,
so
We can't very well
the
put
other
a
side.
reducer on the main line.
No,
That's what I said.
They're off.
So this discussion is moot.
Yeah, because everybody has a pressure, it's an individual house. that has
No,
a
no, I
pressure.
can't do that's what I was saying, because I'm just going off of what he was doing. Line, you can't put one.
I never understood why they put those in, but like I wasn't joking when I said they had the extra money left over from installing the line.
okay.
60,000 on it? Or what, a bunch of money that got wasted. So I don't know.
So I guess the main question is, we're operating in a single pressure zone for the whole town of Chloride.
For the, as far as the main line is concerned.
Yeah.
The town is different, but the main line is.
Yeah, the individual customers,
Well, now some of the laterals, some of the side streets have pressure regulators on them.
Okay.
So there are some in town, but it has nothing to do with this project.
with this portion. Okay, okay.
If it's even there still.
I think that's one of them there.
On payroll, second?
Because I come back and I connect back to the existing before I touch it.
Okay.
They're like little blue.
So they'll continue
They're
on,
middle
or not?
Look at you though.
Okay. So, we're done with 11, 12, there's one pressure zone in the whole town, except for, a few places
As far
that,
as you're concerned.
that we may have to deal with in the future. When you build a water main and you change directions, there's force in the flow of the water that can destroy joints. And so there's thrust blocking, is kind of the old way of doing things, where you would put in like a bend or a T or a hydrant, and you would pour concrete in around the joint to hold it in place.
Megala.
Okay, there is a cost difference there, I mean.
Thank you.
Well, no, they've improved the Megalug, and we went out, because we used this thrust block too, but it's
Yeah.
expensive, and
All the towns in the city.
Oh, yeah.
Megalug, once they approved Megalug,
Yeah.
Yeah, do the log, yeah, definitely.
It makes maintenance, long-term maintenance a lot
Yeah,
easier.
yeah, no,
And there is a little bit more initial cost probably than just dumping concrete in a hole.
But in the long
But
run-
in the long run,
as long as the guys know how to install Megalugs.
Yeah. That's what the instructions are for.
so Megalugs it is.
Yeah.
You didn't watch them, Ron. It's your job, you have to watch them.
Make sure we use that turquoise.
Okay, number 14, we're almost there, at least as far as my list. I don't know if you guys have any questions. We have, we
Just a
use
standard detail.
a standard detail for the hydrant, for a hydrant detail. Is
Okay.
this okay?
Hold up like Mark over when we were doing the hydrant.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want them painted purple and
Right now,
cast with metallic chloride in them.
Is it the same rainbows? Or
Rainbows, I don't know what it is.
oh, no. Mommy's not that at all.
No, we're just gonna use a standard
detail.
hydrant detail. Okay.
And then the valve, there's a valve in here.
We can put more about it.
Yes, this is the valve here, this is section 2, so this
Oh,
valve here
okay.
with the can that comes up to the.
Yeah.
Whatever fire hydrant they have them all the same, don't have them bring in 20 different types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in the spec. approved by you.
Well, no,
Yeah.
the district and
as long as you
the
just
same.
specify
the right or whatever.
whatever, just the same.
Well, it's that detail.
Yeah, that's,
I've just been around.
This one doesn't call out a manufacturing.
Budgeted whatever they could get.
I think that's a QCS.
Yeah, this says Waters, Mueller, or Clark.
Yeah.
Dealers,
So,
Long as
they're all
they're
the same color.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we have enough pressure to operate the hydrants. I mean, is there enough pressure coming out? Could they hook up to it? The fire department guy said, you don't have enough pressure there, we couldn't put out a fire with that.
well, they don't.
500 gallons a minute.
Yeah, we can find out. Our biggest problem right now, why they have reduced pressures, because we don't have a full size, we only got 3 inch over here.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna give you any flow.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
we got a
that.
bad hydrant
Oh,
over
that
there.
one over there.
Well,
except-
There's something wrong with that line. It's not the hydrant. It's something in the line, because when you go to do the line that goes up First Street, same thing, reduced pressure all the way around when you bleed, same thing. You'll- When you first turn it on, you get a nice squirt, and then it just,
That's what I found.
so that line's something wrong with it.
It's probably full of holes.
Sounds like you don't have a valve.
So they're gonna make 3/4 white plastic, you think there's something wrong?
Only the holes that are in it.
I do have a question though that you guys brought up with the pressure reducing valves. And this is coming from a complete layman, but he brought up that it's not really our concern with this funding, which is correct. But you guys are providing us with a complete new set of plans.
Yes.
So do we need to determine where those pressure reducing valves go in the other areas of town
Yes.
while you're here?
yes, not while we're here today.
Okay,
We're still studying, that's what Ray was saying. Richard is studying pressure
Okay.
zones and where that's gonna happen. And so we'll be in touch and get the operating pressures within the different zones for the overall build out. What our plan is here is because we're short on time, we have to use all this money by the end of the year, right?
right.
So we're focusing on what we think we can build, what we'll have the money to build, and in a parallel stream, we will complete the design of
Okay.
the entire rest of the system while these plans are out to bid and being constructed.
Right, right. Okay.
So
cool.
if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one, we've tried our best to get utility information, existing utility buried. We've seen different areas around town where it's been power underground, telephone underground. We have been very unsuccessful in getting any response from Blue State or anyone else.
Unisource gave you what you need, right?
Well, they just said, yeah, there's no gas out here, and so
No.
that's what they said. So that's easy enough, but as far as power and communication,
Power is in the source also.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
why I
most
asked.
of it's above ground, except for like one Larry and Rainbow, I think.
It'll be Frontier.
Yeah.
Frontier is
Yeah.
the telephone.
And then
Very-
Yeah, I got Frontier, but the only thing I have is just a guy named Steve.
And hopefully that's
Yeah,
what
but, I mean,
It's
That's
Frontier's replacement.
Yes, that's a replacement.
Okay.
But
So-
Frontier is-
Well, just whatever I show on here is
Yeah.
what we have and what we've got. So,
Okay, yeah.
And we're
just
gonna,
be what it is.
yeah, we're gonna put a general note on there that says,
Oh, they ain't there anymore.
you know, like in the old days, we're not quite sure where everything is.
Yeah.
And it's the contractor's job to find
We
it,
go.
locate it.
We go.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
All right. I'll call them, I'll reach out to
So,
them.
that's all that we had.
I know when I contact them.
Does anyone have any questions about this, process tonight? Or the plans, or the?
I covered everything, really.
Yeah, you got everything for a long time.
Okay.
Just have to see what the new process numbers are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll revise this, because like we said, we're calling these 60% plans, but really they're probably a little bit further along than that. But, we'll revise this, we'll revise the plans, we'll update the spec book, and, keep moving.
Now, this is the whole town, right?
Now,
Or is this just?
Eventually it will be, but
Just
this right now
maybe.
is second, and Tennessee only.
when we get done.
Second from our connection
But
to
you
the north.
have the whole town done.
I haven't laid out, I just gotta put plans together.
I just want
I was wondering
future
about
Yes.
Yeah, I think for the water company, having nothing to do with you guys, we have a PR problem here. Because I really don't think this work is gonna do much for our leakage problem.
Well-
I think it's gonna set the basis for us to do something about leakage.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna do much for it, so we're still gonna be maintaining our 40% loss.
Oh, I think so.
Even after the job is done, and I think a lot of people in town are looking forward to getting
Well-
rid of that 40% loss now, it's not gonna happen.
You might get a little bit, you
Yeah.
might save a little bit more money.
Yeah, for us, we're gonna have to start talking a little different.
Yeah,
A little different,
A little different scope.
Solomon Hurst.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think most people need to be made aware of worldwide, the loss is 50%.
Well, see, I didn't understand that we couldn't use the main line.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna be redoing laterals. I didn't realize we were doing the main line. So that, for me, this is a whole different concept. You know, and I think for a lot of people there in town, it's gonna be a whole different. concept.
Well, we'll just have to start preaching a different tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the next phase goes into
Oh,
the.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the full system build out will show the design of
This
all
will be the
the.
main trunk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
main trunk core. And,
Yeah.
Gotta do that and take the whole 5 minutes. They're gonna be surprised at what they find, you know, in the main lines. Like, I remember a big leak down there, just coming off of the ductile iron down by Hercules and Farm.
Uh-huh.
There was a big leak, and that 6-inch line, no, we didn't know. And well, also, you got, everybody didn't know, not everybody knew, that it was tied into a 6-inch line. You know, and it was.
It came back
ductile
down.
iron. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think
It's really fun.
it's gonna help.
Oh, it's gonna help a lot. Oh, yeah, not a huge amount, but it will definitely help.
While we're out here, I'd like to just bring something else up. I kind of whispered it to Ron while you guys were talking, but we got our estimate back from the only contractor that I could get a hold of that was willing to give us a figure, and it was $36,000 to repair the 10 by 50 ditch that we made on Tennessee. Obviously, that's not within our abilities to do. And more than likely, since we're doing all of the paved roads here, and including repairs that might come along, and that's our responsibility to take care of, we're gonna have more of these issues, I'm sure, as they're putting in the new line. So we do need to give some thought to
Asphalt.
what we're gonna be doing.
The contractor who's doing the 6-inch lines is responsible for
Yeah,
the
it's all
asphalt.
For theirs, but not for our repairs as they come up on this, on the,
we should get hold of asphalt, just for your reference. Have a truck come in a coal mix that we can stockpile over here. They can run coal mix on what's there, and you guys can run like 2 inches and spread it out and roll it, and be fine. I'm just saying this is for future patches.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know the asphalt companies around here, but you can run coal mix.
There are none.
there are none, that's the problem.
That's what you pull out of Vegas with the dump trailer, I mean, they.
Well, yeah.
Well, we do have one that's there, but they don't like to come out here,
Did you want to see that?
because Desert Construction does asphalt.
Well, some of them won't do coal mix, you got, I mean, that's what I'm saying, is you gotta find out which one will do a coal
It
mix.
was hot mix.
Yeah, I'm gonna say hot mix, if somebody got the coal mix, we should be able to find something.
Maybe we should just take our dump trailer down there late at night, you know, and they're
We used to use the buildings,
on Legends
Yeah.
Ranch Road, you know,
yeah, we used to use the.
I bet you if you got hold of the state or county, we could get some of that for nothing.
So you're saying that the county would roll it for us, is that what you're?
Oh, we can roll, you got trucks, you get fine with it,
Okay,
plate compactor.
I just don't know any of this
Yeah, no, I'm
stuff.
just saying, that's how we used to go in and.
I'm gonna make a suggestion for you.
Okay, key question right now.
Timeline, I think, yeah, for these plans, like I was explaining, we're focusing on this trunk system, and the design of the rest of it is going to be kind of parallel with this, so that we can get all of our funds spent by the end of the year.
Right.
So I think these are 60%. We could go to 100% to finals in the next 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we can look at bidding, or sending it out for bid. I mean, if we're 4 weeks from now, that would put us mid-April.
Mid-April.
We could look at bidding 1st of May,
Okay,
and we'd have to advertise, we'd have to.
yeah, so that's a couple week process,
Yeah.
3-week process.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
you have to advertise for, what's the county?
10 days.
10 days or something.
I think, I don't know, it's California, it's
Or
10
2
days.
weeks, or.
Yeah, something like that.
Depends on the dollar value.
Okay, so, but we
That's
need to
what I-
advertise, so hopefully, you know, if we shoot for 1st of May, we can get somebody in place maybe by the end of May,
Mhm.
and I think we'll be in good shape.
That sounds reasonable.
To build this before the end of the year.
Yeah, okay,
And,
cool.
and simultaneous with this, we will complete the design of the remainder of
The remainder of the town, okay.
that we
Cool.
know we won't be able to
Yeah.
touch as far as building right
No,
now.
it's just not a lot of map, everything for future.
Right, right. So we know how to tie in.
Yeah, and zones, well, they will do this and this phase and this and that phase.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can email it.
So, was there anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Can I just say, I mean, we've enjoyed working on this, I've enjoyed having this meeting,
Yes,
so
please.
so thank you for this.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's coming along.
Yeah.
I'm happy the way it's coming along, and I'm happy with dates. If we can start working, if we can get a bid by the end of May, like you say.
I think we'll be in really good shape.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, okay. That's kind of a calendar the other day.
You guys gotta adjourn the meeting.
I was thinking.
I second,
Yeah.
it's been moved and seconded that the meeting is adjourned.
Oh,
that's right.
I forgot we're an official meeting. All right, move it,